I don't. Looking at on that,
But,
because I usually pull
yeah,
those
that's
out budget
just,
comparisons.
in the, general fund. Unearned revenue. Was 2.9 million. That is. A-R-E.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Oh, ARPA, yeah, of course. Yeah. ARP.
$164. What I'm looking at is just how good we are. If you look in the middle of this page, 164, it says prior year findings. It says there were no reportable findings in the prior year. It says current year findings. There were no reportable findings in the current year. Page 165, our audit did not disclose any further items that would be required to be reported under rules of the Attorney General, chapter 10.55. Page 167. Difficulties incurred in performing the audit. We encountered no sufficient difficulties. But according to Joe Biden, they corrected and uncorrected mistakes. All potential misstatements have been provided to. Any mistakes were corrected. Page 160. The top of the page, disagreements with management. We are pleased to report that no such disagreements arose during the course of our audit. Next, management representations. We have requested certain representations for management that are included in the management letter of June 24th. Now, if you go back to 165. Conclusion. We very much enjoyed the challenge and experiences from our auditors. We appreciate the helpful assistance to the staff who lead our audit, and also the generally high quality of the financial records and internal controls. And I'll add to that myself and the city auditors. It don't get any better than this. Fine. Great. I understand all the reasoning and all that, but gosh, 60% of our new year has gone by. And we get, that's,
Yes, sir. It's hard.
yeah. Is Richard still involved in this or what happened there?
Richard, knows, I mean, he sees the call about Rachel.
I'm asking this because I was told it was sold,
Oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. So,
was sold.
the art of practice,
All team practice was sold.
yes, sir.
Why? I'm fussing at you now.
Oh, it's fine, why was it sold?
No, I know I was
Oh, I was
sold,
going to say that.
but this is not, Powell and Jones. This is somebody else. Be proud of his work. Be proud of what you're doing. Notify your clients with your name on it or whoever, whatever the corporate name is gonna be. Doesn't have to be Powell and Jones.
Yes, sir, I mean, we certainly want to honor Richard, stuff like that, but the birthday is
Yeah,
over years.
And, what the normal thing is to, agree to a new contract. I'll make that motion.
Okay, not, I'll have to it.
No. Because we've got an investment in that document there, a big investment. And, we don't want to lose our investment. That's
She's gonna need them too.
true.
Questions.
True. So that's my motion.
Second.
Contract fiscal year 24.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitfall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes.
Bill, is this because you won $10 today at Rotary?
I sure did. And last week. And hard. I knew it was too hard.
Any more questions?
That's
All right. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Good item, B. What do you got here?
Council, the whole public hearing for the purpose of considering approval. City manager's recommended capital improvement program for fiscal year 2024.
Go to E.
Oh, you said E?
Yes.
Thought you said B. All right. Agenda item E, 6E. Council to hold, discuss wastewater planning document and to take any actions deemed necessary. Past hour and a half, entertaining enough.
I think like financial audits.
This is a copy of the slides that John's really put up. It's just a summary of the facilities plan. It's about 500 pages. Can you pull your mic closer to? Thank you.
I'm Doug Brown. I'm a project engineer at Mott McDonald. I worked on the area wastewater facilities plan or planning document. We were tasked with going through and doing a comprehensive plan for the wastewater for the city. It ended up being about probably a 20-year plan instead of the typical 5 or so, just because of the number of projects we found. The reason we did that though was to provide basically a basket of projects for the city to seek other funding sources. Any funding that does come available, John or the city, you guys already have a project that's been vetted, the feasibility studies, environmental studies, everything's been done on it. So you can turn around and seek that funding. Having said that, there's also some immediate needs that we have identified that we would want to move forward with the facilities plan A, and then for the city to consider moving forward with phase 1 coming soon once this is approved by the city. So the planning document, if you look at the first page, it kind of outlines what the goals were for the plan. We looked at collection, mainly for I&I, which is number 1 priority. We looked at conveyance, which we call the pump stations or lift stations. We also have a lot of those that are nearing the end of life. We also looked at the treatment system. The treatment system is, back some things in it, but it's mostly the items we looked at there. We're gonna improve efficiency or resiliency so that your treatment plant can operate during extreme weather as well as save money. And then we also looked at your disposal, because the Buckeye Mill plant closed, your spray filters, your sole means of the fluid disposal, so it's in flows, then it's unprecedented, consistently. So we had an eye for that. You don't need it right now. You may need it in 5 years from now, 10 years. And then we wrote this plan, like I said, suitable so that it goes for funding, it'll pass the litmus test basically for any funding we've seen, whether it's state or this first map, if you can go back to that first page, John. This map here is, just about the collection system. This is a map of your collection system. This red hatched area is actually the city limits, you're connected to 55, city limits. We overlaid it because we were trying to narrow down the search for the I-9. Typically, it's the clay pipe that does it, the old terracotta jointed clay pipe. And this is the city limits in 1955, so the sewer is from 1955. And we verified that with some manual inspections that we did. Going to the next page. So phase one, which is what we considered immediately prioritizing for the county wide, we did basically a list analysis for what the likelihood of failure and anticipated remaining life. We looked at criticality, how many people would be affected if it went down, and it's basically a multiplication of that. So the recommendation is to clean and do a CCTV, which is an investigation with a camera into all of the sewer system identified in the previous slide, that old city limit map area. To do that in phase one would basically set the stage for the remaining phases or any remaining phases you want to do, because you'll be able to pinpoint in a surgical way where the problems are and either line them or replace them as necessary. The second item for the collection system is in June of 2030, sometime around there, your wastewater flows at the plant increased about 500,000 gallons a day over the span of a month. It's kind of pushing the plant towards the expansion. It doesn't need an expansion, it needs to fix that. So this trunk line that runs along Temple Creek, it's through the swamp in the woods. Typically, there's roots that get in there, manhole covers get blown off, and these are holding them, and water flush into it, like a fire hose. That was identified as immediate need, excuse me, going in and cammering it first to make sure where it is, how much of it should be fixing, whether it's replacement or rehab. Rehab is a CIPP line in this case, which is a cast in place pipe. It's just a trenchless technology that allows us to basically inflate a pipe inside of it, rolls out and it's coated in resin. When it hardens, it makes like a pipe in pipe. So UV stuff. Conveyance system wise, we identified the two largest, oldest lift stations that's in your city besides your main lift station at the plant. That'd be the Warner and Visit lift stations. About 1950 style stations. There were old dry pump wet wells. The dry side flooded at some point in the city. Ended up putting in suction lift pumps through the back, and it's worked for a while, but at this point, the buildings are dilapidated and the pumps need to be redone. It basically the whole system needs to be redone. We looked at replacement versus rehab on those, and because of the need to bypass for so long, the cost actually drove up and it's more rehab. We just built it's too. For your treatment system, we did a field analysis or a field assessments for everything, all the pump stations, the manhole inspection, because it's the treatment plan and it's very good. The generator at the spray field's not working. So if you have a power outage, you can't, the plant still works, but you can't dispose of wastewater. So in light of Buckeye closing, we recommend doing that. The other item here is the remote surveillance and automatic operations SCADA system at the plant. This is an efficiency item, but it's something that would make a large difference. So currently, by permit, you have to have a Class C operator there 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. If we do this, your permit can be renegotiated and we can have, I think, 5 hours a day, or, yeah, 5 hours a day, 5 days a week with a visit a month. So your personnel could be utilized in the field or something. Total for that is 9.2 million. And you would want this schedule to complete the next 3 years or so. Going to the next page. For future phases, the collection system work will need to be prioritized based on the results from the Cameron in phase 1. We identified for this plan the entire thing, so it's on the books. So it's on paper and you can start seeking funding for it. You won't have to go through this process again, just RFI process. The lift stations we looked at to be done would be in the next 10 years. That's a list of them there below. The priority for this future phase, we would want to coordinate it. So if we have a collection system that's in need and there's a lift station that's identified that's in need next to it, we want to do that as a project. That way you save on mobilization fund, fees and things like that. It's just even more. That picture you see at the top, there is a picture of the building pump station. And then the bottom, I'll call it bottom left, is the terracotta. You can see the terracotta pipes in the busted in the bottom of that manhole. And then the one on the bottom right, you can see the cracks around the top of the manhole. It's evidence of manhole sinking, which is evidence by it's washing the dirt that it's setting into it and sinking.
You may have said, where's this one located?
The exact spot, I'm not sure.
Okay.
When we did the manhole inspections, basically I took a map of the city and drew a grid on it. And told my CEI inspector to go out and give me one manhole on each grid, so that we could look at a smaller area across the city. Yeah, on the bottom. Neglect. You go to the next page. For your treatment system, as I said earlier, we kind of look to try to anticipate needs on the treatment system because it's not falling apart. It's fairly good. We just wanted to get them on paper and identify the projects so that we could seek funding because they would benefit the city. They're just not falling apart. So the priority on these definitely depends on funds, availability of funds. The projects we identified are mechanical dewatering for your sludge, right now you're all liquid sludge. Mechanical dewatering could, if regulations change, if for some reason the city can no longer have to plan to apply their sludge, it should get in a basin management area or impaired waterway area, the state can come down and decree that that's no longer something to do, so they can afford it to be moved. The farther it's transported, they're hauling liquid. The dewatering, basically remove the liquid, make a cake, it's lighter, so it's. We've done the oxidation ditch, there's, you have a single oxidation ditch now, so if it goes down, it's down until it's repaired. If you have a second one, it's just redundant. It'll improve efficiency of your treatment, but it's mainly for the redundancy reasons. And then additional spray filter area, as I stated earlier, the flows are there. Right now it's working okay. It kind of looks like it could be a little wet. Most security is. So it's just something to identify and put on paper. There's an adjacent area next to it. The potential will be developed into additional spray area if the city needs it. To the next page. So, having said all that, we identified about $106 million worth of need, which is a huge number. That's absolute worst case, and that's probably over the span of 20+ years to do it. We had about $72.5 million for the collection system. That's assuming two things. That you have to do the entire area that we identified in the first slide, which is the whole city limits. which may not, likely won't. And the other one is based on the manhole inspections, we had about 30% that needed replacement. So we use that as a statistical analysis, or statistical basis to say that you gotta replace 30% of those, you probably gotta replace 30% of them. Which may or may not be true. Conveyance, you have about 9.8 million, that's the 12 lift stations. The two new ones that are identified in phase one, and then the 10 rehab. And then your treatment, altogether is about 23.6 million. That's the plan in this regular stuff. This is a planning level estimate. It's prioritized. Currently, when we get the results back in phase one, it will be reprioritized, probably more projects developed that are more discrete. But it's just a way to know when you're allocating your resources, the ones to go for first, ones that are both, like I said, it's risk-based. It's likelihood of failure based on the condition and criticality of failure based on what happened. This planning effort is also, don't let the money scare you on that. It's 20+ years for the projects. The city started now and did one after the other through the funding cycles. It would be 20+. I just want to make sure that's the year. You don't need to come up with 100 today. Next page.
Okay, so what, just to reiterate, this is based on relining the entire sewer pipe system.
In that.
It's 106 million, I mean, the
Yeah, the 76 million was based on 70% lining,
70%.
30% being replaced. And that was based on the manholes, the statistics from the manholes that
100% either relined or replaced.
100% done, either replaced, which is most things.
How long's the lining, how long is it good for generally, or do we know yet?
So when we did the analysis, that it's typically 20-year life cycle, our coffee do, where we take the O&M and we look at things and say, how long does it last for 20 years, including the O&M costs? For the collection system, we did 100 years, because the lining lasts 50 years, new PVC lasts 100 years. So when I did it, I had to incorporate a second rehab 50 years from that, and the lining still came cheap.
Can it be lined again?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I've never seen it. I don't think the technology's been old enough to line it again, but you lose basically, it's like flat. You lose in like, I would say it's a quarter of an inch thickness around it. So yeah, I would think you can line it.
So at some point you're gonna run out of rain.
percolating it, but This is probably after 30 years.
Long after we're gone, but still somebody down the road's gotta deal with it.
Somebody
so,
had to replace it.
yeah.
You made a comment about the spray field generator. Did I hear you say it's not working?
It's not operational. So when we looked at that one, I looked at either replacing the generator or replacing a little bit of bypass pump, both of them, and the generator came up cheaper.
Is it repairable or no?
We can look at repairing it, but I think it got put in the 90s, so at this point, it's
30 years?
30, 40 years old.
So
Maybe, so it's had,
just because something is old, you don't throw it away.
No.
well, this is budgetary.
I understand all that.
Yes, sir. I understand. I agree.
Well, you know,
The generator at the spray field, the circuit board on it, controls it, the safety features of it do not work. Lamar can make it run manually, but then like if it runs low on oil or something, it just, and also too, Mr. Bill, it's getting so old that you can't get parts. So it may work, it may be the greatest thing ever, but you can't get, that's what we're running into.
you know,
And, that's just like I met with a guy today about the main lift station pumps. They're 20 years old and we need a check valve rebuilt. And I don't know that we can get parts to rebuild the check valve. We gotta buy new. And I don't wanna do that. That's where we're running into.
the trunk line along Pepper Creek, that's an area trunk line in and
Oh, yeah. It's, yeah. It crosses a couple times on the map. I looked at.
part of that's on private property.
I could probably work with the thermal.
These were either slip line or in situ form.
So what we priced it out at is for the piping, it's the cast in place piping that's put in it. Or replacement, if we have areas we can't get to, we'll probably look at pipe bursting could be an option. For gravity pipe, when you have the old pipe shell and you pull the lumen in, it's kind of like a cutter head on it, similar to an HD board, but it's running through the existing pipe and cutting it, putting the lumen in place. So there's some options that we could still do that trenchless, for special need cases. But the costing was, for budgetary numbers, we use, you use a little hefty Cadillac type cost, is what I call it. You do the whole thing, and then when you get it, you hope that the contractor comes in under it.
Here's my final question.
Yes.
Is this the document we paid $300,000 for?
That's just the summary document that you make.
I like the copy of the document.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I didn't bring it with me. It's like 500
Yeah.
pages, but I'll definitely send it.
Nobody else.
I think you have to sign it, or everybody has to sign it, see it, and all that. So I'll definitely send this.
That 106 million, have any inflation over 20 years, or is that all today's cost?
That was all in today's cost. So what we may do, because we only identified real estate as one. And then the next phase is we could say, oh, you'll need, I don't know, you could say 8 million, whatever, but it's, you don't really know. And you could probably definitely find $8 million worth of projects, but
If we're gonna use this document for 20 years, I'd like to see some of that inflation built in.
Well, maybe looking at 150 million.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but it would be we would have to, yeah, stipulate without being that time frame. So every 3 years, I could inflate based on whatever it is, maybe 2% or 3% even. And then I'd do it for every 3-year increment and say every project would come about every 3 years. Yeah, I could add that in. Like I said, once if DEP accepts this document, which they should, the projects are done, the environmental assessment's done, it would then be presenting a request for inclusion and going through the whole process and then.
We either slip line or in situ form this entire line we're talking about. I don't recall doing many manholes. But in my opinion, for what it's worth, there's a big, large portion of that I coming through the top of that manhole.
And that,
I look at it every day I go home. And it's like a river flowing into the manhole.
Yeah, we did years ago, we did a similar trunk line for Davis Field in Mariana, and it followed the same creek pattern like it. And through that repair process, it made a world of difference in their plant.
it's not in here, but what would happen in design for those items, they have it's not a metal manhole lid, it's a composite and it's locking and sealing, so we can even ensure those were on the,
Some of them are easy to identify.
the only best way to do it, I know of, would be the CCTV that's in phase 1, you can find all your problems and then pick you.
Yeah.
It's just a low battery. That was a video game. Of course, I came out of the 80s. If you're gonna count for inflation, it's probably gonna be. I don't know if when I say over the past 2 years, it's probably gonna be steep.
Yeah, I would recommend probably going to about the 10-year mark. And then, most likely DEP at that point would want you to redo the facilities plan. But we did it with your direct labor plan. It's a much lighter plan. You just go in and take this information, take the cost, and then you add any projects that may have developed in that 10 years, and then you do it again. They'll probably require it. I see them do it sometimes 5 years, but I think you can stretch it to 10 years. I've seen like 6, 7 years.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to, close the public hearing. Unless someone else got something. So,
Second. Councilmember Grimes.
yes,
Councilmember Woodball.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes.
and I'll also offer a motion to approve resolution 24-12.
Which goes along with this. We have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Grimes.
Yes,
Councilmember Woodball.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes. Thank you.
Don't age and they go home.
I'm right to matter.
Huh?
Right to matter.
I'm ready to go.
Agenda item 6H, council to discuss grant application for septic to sewer project and take any action deemed necessary.
All right, so it was identified, grants, 100% grant was identified, Don had come to, and requested us to help him come up with some cost of projects. It is, septic to sewer. It's about 110 homes, to go off septic tanks to, get put into a low pressure system. We ended up splitting it into 2 projects.
Low pressure being gravity,
Grinder pumps.
grinder pumps, okay.
So what you do is that, and I'm sure you may be aware, stop me if you are, but at each, septic tank, you go put a grinder pump in, you abandon the septic tank, and then you run like 1.5 inch or 2 inch, of course, making yours. This is, on Van, I think Vanport and Southwood, that area.
Well, point, was the first one, this is the furthest one out.
So we split it in 2 because, it's two grant applications. And that's because, the funding, CERCAL, funding people that are helping us, Rachel Howard, had spoke to the director and they have recommended because, areas in Taylor County, which is a rural area of opportunity, it's not in a basin management area, so it's a lower priority. So the funding would be less, so they didn't recommend a $10 million project, they recommended something about a $2 million project. So it's 2 $1.5 million projects. That's 100% funded through.
Who's the grant come through? Water management or
It's DEP,
DP?
it's the wastewater, it's earmarked for even nutrients from impaired springs, basically, but, and that's why the septic sewers on it to get the drain filled out. That's why it's-
And it's gonna be LaCour and Southwood and where else you said?
Well, point, Judson Drive.
Well Point.
Is that
That
gonna
whole side of
require
property.
the citizens to do that, or they don't have an option?
No, we're doing it.
I mean, they don't have an option.
So I think they have a year by state law or something like that to do it.
We're gonna take, I mean, it's part of the grant to tie in as well.
It's like Pine Ridge, right?
Yeah, it should be the
Just
same
like
as,
Pine Ridge.
yeah.
Then they'll have X amount of dollars per month going toward maintenance.
Yes, that's the way that was written.
That's something y'all will have to
Yeah,
discuss.
I
Y'all
agree,
go to
guys.
that.
Yeah, as far as maintenance, so this is just the construction, funding the construction.
There's a fund that we collect, I believe it's for up to 20 years, and that'll drop off. Carly will figure that out. And, but it goes for repairs towards.
Right.
Towards Pine Ridge.
Which must be like, I was saying this, you just go out there with the college, whatever.
So Pound Ridge is already on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I get that email to me so I can see what the reading on
Yeah,
it?
there's,
We've had several citizens come in and complain about their bills and the extras. Past.
Yeah, that's why I want to read
on
on
council last time.
You know, it's been a long time.
it. It's been a while. I think it was my
Almost
first
20 years
term.
It's been there for 15 years.
I
think it was
7.
what's,
Was it 7?
Pumps are over.
what's the lifetime of those pumps?
5, 6 years.
We still pull pumps out that are dated '08. So they last.
Wow.
But
That's
the thing
gonna be-
is, this only is for 20 years, I believe, and then the maintenance is on the city, or no, it's on them.
We need to pull that contract.
Yeah, that's why I wanna read it, yeah.
Cause I think the maintenance goes on the public, but then we don't charge them extra fee either.
Yeah.
Those things are about what, $6,000,
Mhm.
about $6,000
For what?
a pump.
No, it's about outreach to the people who. the pump is-
Am I thinking of, what's 6,000, the whole thing, or am I out in left field with that?
6,000 is probably the tank, the pump, the panel, and the electrician installed.
And
Okay.
crushing the septic tank.
Yeah.
And all. Something else, something.
Mhm.
They were allowed a special exception for hurricanes.
How was that paid?
Grant.
On the grant. Well, no, the homeowner had to pay a portion.
No, that's what
Yes, there was.
That's what their
There's an
argument
impact
was.
fee.
I paid part of it on my city bill.
It's an impact fee.
Yeah, I was forced to do it as part of my city bill.
Yes.
Spread over
Fee,
so
and
many months or whatever, or years, or,
Until, reading the payment.
yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
It's the benefit to the customer. It's in the environment.
The expansion of your property base.
So they won't be able to opt out.
No, it's,
It'll be a mandate.
Yeah, I wanna read the contract.
Do we take any action on this, or is this just,
Just let y'all know that we're applying for it.
any more questions? Thank you.
We do this. We did 11, so we can do this.
We did, yes, ma'am, we did that. That's the one Bill made the motion on earlier.
Maybe on 11. I didn't hear it even on 12. Did we do it on 12?
Yeah, he did, oh, he did 12, we gotta get back to 11. 11's the CIP. City manager. The agenda's been all over the place,
I know.
so. Everybody okay with taking 5 minutes?
sure.
Okay. Wrong end.
Well, we got 5 minutes.
How much is not already on all areas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, no, I just wanted to make sure because we skipped over.
Well, he was rearranging it so that we can get out.
This place many years.
Did
you find it?
No. I think you may have told me verbally to take off the everything. But then when I couldn't find the email, I thought,
Oh, we saw it this morning. Morning meeting. It was on that agenda he showed.
what's it? The original one I sent him had it on there, but it's been the final one that went out. Yes, and he worked for them. Everybody's out.
Research, yeah.
Got to go, I got to go catch those fish, me and Bobby plan to catch everything.
You got to go? Oh,
I don't know.
what did you say?
I said, plan to go.
Oh,
Like,
I
I
took
don't give a
partial
hand,
vote for the one.
but Oh, yeah, it's hot in here. I don't know what happened. It's the air. It's like, oh,
I bet he did have a good
Kenny
time.
was laughing at me. I was like,
Go on my trail.
When
I have to carry my little fan.
you fish, everybody
I'm
says,
trying to
you
fit
take
it
every
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take those fish. Very, what would stay with it?
Yeah.
You know,
I asked her, I said, you know how to clean these fish? She says, no, but I'm
he's still
still
learning.
And she cooks my book.
Did he teach her?
Yeah, I found
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
said, "You ran too much."
Good.
Here's the thing,
Yeah.
is you don't argue with the ants. They
Well,
will
that's
eat
sweet.
you down to their level and we put it through.
I just learned these do that.
Oh,
We don't have a risk.
oh, yeah.
Pretty slow.
I thought about that the other day, and he wanted to take me, and we never got down there.
Yeah,
Well, you can't explain nothing yet.
yeah.
My favorite one, people complain about.
You know, if they ever sold that river property,
They
they
won't.
had.
That's pretty much it.
It's nice outside.
There's people all over the place buying water property around here. Some of it you just look around and look at, and it's people from all over, everywhere.
I was.
Yeah.
I actually got home.
Used to be, is all kind of knew everybody. Shoot, now it's
Yeah, it's,
5 states away.
Or some.
True. I had I bet I had 8 or 10 people come in the other day on a jet to go fishing. I mean, the door opened like a clown car, because I was just pouring out of it.
Mm.
They all loaded up 3 vehicles and off they went to Steenhatchee.
Somebody said.
Just, you think the last one came out, here comes another one.
They kept coming, huh?
That thing was full. I think the bathroom, yes, some jets had seatbelts on the bathroom seats. And they use it. All right. You want to call the meeting back to order? Go with agenda item 6D, I believe. Council hold a public hearing for the purpose of considering approval of the city manager's recommended capital improvement program for fiscal years 2024 through 2029 and take any action deemed necessary. That's the one we've been working on off and on for quite a while now. Any discussion on it?
Motion to close public hearing.
What did he say?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Woodhull?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry?
Yes.
Mayor Catherine?
Yes. Agenda item 6C. Resolution 2024-11. In reference, city manager's recommended 5-year capital improvements program for fiscal years 2024 through 2029. A resolution of the city of Perry, Florida, approving and adopting the city manager's recommended 5-year capital improvements program for fiscal years 2024 through 2029.
Motion to accept.
Have a motion to accept. We have a second.
Second.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Woodhull?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry?
Yes.
Mayor Catherine?
Yes. Agenda item 6D. Cancel the set dates for a workshop regarding the trash and waste pickups and to take any actions deemed necessary. Anybody got any particular dates they would like to do this? How soon do you want to do this? See, next week's the 4th of July week, so I don't know. That week's usually kind of iffy. later this week. After 4th of July, of course, that's gonna be our meeting, the 9th will be our next meeting date.
That depends on how soon you want to do it. I'm available next Tuesday. But I know,
I can't either. It'll be July 2nd. Is everybody gonna be around July 2nd? You probably the main one needs to be here.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
What I can't be good that day.
I got you.
Well, I've got, I think we scheduled.
It's fine. We'll just throw one dates out.
Well,
What about the Tuesday? Give everybody.
What?
time. Give everybody plenty of time to think about research.
16 at 3:30. What did you say? I can't hear you.
So that give everybody plenty of time to think about what they want to do, research what's going on around, you know, I've been pulling a bunch of stuff together to share with you.
So we're talking during the day or 5 p.m.?
Everything.
What?
6:30 in the morning.
I'm up, so. So what time did we say?
Yeah, it's that time.
1:30.
Work for me.
Bill,
1:30.
are you available on the 16th?
As far as I know.
Should he?
Is that okay with you, Dan? That work for you, Danielle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other day, but next. It's your problem, so.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, July 16th, 2024 at 1:30 PM. Right here,
At what time? 1:30.
1:30.
1:30.
And. All right. Agenda item 6G. Council to discuss camera project for parks and to take any action deemed necessary.
I think I decided to give up on that one unless I find a grant or something. We're getting quotes for like 50 grand for 5 cameras. I'm not doing it.
So just come back to that later.
Probably.
Okay.
Or
Or that.
That's just the camera.
Camera and installation and service for
10 years.
10 years.
But they're good cameras.
Right, no, cause I was just like, what is the average cost of one of those bathrooms? No, I'm asking.
It depends, but it could be
Waste.
at least $500 for a busted toilet and stuff.
And the camera doesn't guarantee you're fixing that problem. It's just a prevention. Might put in a budget for 2029.
Okay, those Walmart.
They don't work, but they can pretend. Put some signs up for a while, saying it's.
It worked.
Like next week, then.
It did for a while. Well, it works.
Agenda item 6I. Council to discuss hiring a lobbyist and take any action deemed necessary.
Me and Lloyd went and talked with Jason Show and Bob Brown went and talked with Corey Simon. At the end of both conversations, I looked at him, I said, what is the best thing Perry can do to get some of this appropriation money? And they both said, you need to hire a lobbyist, and they both gave me 3 names. I've been calling, I've probably talked to 10 different lobbyists from the biggest companies there are to some of the smallest ones. I've talked with some other city managers that have lobbyists, they said, you need to have a lobbyist. I talked
We
to-
got one,
Who's that?
Florida League of Cities.
They're
We
lobbying,
don't use them, that's our fault, shame on us.
they're lobbying for the whole state of Florida, not just us particularly.
Have you asked them?
Will they do specific lobbying services just for our city or?
I do it as a whole.
There's like a coalition type
And
thing.
then talk to them, I don't know.
I don't know either. I didn't know they did it.
I just,
We submitted an appropriation request last time, pretty much told we didn't even put it in writing. We know what we're doing. These guys have.
I will discuss this with you, privately.
Right.
Well, that's got nothing to do with this.
And could I also just note, like, going like to, I guess, the equivalent of the Swanee City Leagues and stuff where they're more comparable areas. I was surprised at how much they coalesce together to try to get things done that would be helpful. And they were all just like so happy to see someone there from Perry. So they're probably, I'm sure it wouldn't be as spot on of us having our own lobbyists, but there are other lobbying opportunities that I think over the years, because of priorities, Perry's presence or Taylor County's presence may not be as evident. So when they're thinking of small town or rural North Florida, our voices are not being heard because we're not participating. So maybe that would be a great conversation to have, or participating even as on their legislative days or whatever, like, you know, for the most part, the council is not being represented. Or just in compared to some of the smaller cities I saw.
You're right.
I talked with Luana, she was interested in us doing it together, and some of the ones I talked to said it wouldn't be a problem, as long as we weren't. When they feel the frustrations, it's a bucket here, bucket here, bucket here, bucket here, as long as we're not going for the same bucket, and competing with each other, go for separate buckets, she was okay with that.
Does the county have a lobby?
Well, well, would it,
They do, call it Florida Association of County.
I understand.
be like the Florida League of Cities for us, I guess, same thing.
But I do know the county definitely has representation.
And then there is, like you say, the smaller, little leagues that are more district wise. And
John, do you go to the Swanee River League meeting?
They go to the North Florida Economic Development, and been to the Swanee River League yet.
Been meaning to go to one of those. I keep getting an email, but I never have been able to make it yet.
I have participated, and they have something August I've kind of participated. But definitely, it was really cool listening because of the comparable sizes of the other places. When we're going, it's like, you hear all the people from Boca Raton or Jacksonville, it's just comparatively. We don't have the resources to compete, but there are some getting some good stuff.
Some of the trouble we get into, and we saw this past couple of weeks, is you get it through the Senate, you get it through the House, but it's got to make it through the governor. And that's where most of us, I never talked, well, I've talked to him once. I don't know him well enough to pick up the phone and say, hey, can you get this done? I certainly don't. And that's where, I guess, a lobbyist
This is the guy that.
can make it happen.
The only government client he has is Nassau County. That's what he got in 2023 for him. He's getting money for the Northeast Florida Fair, the Gulf Coast Jewish family, something or another, college.
What, oh, Nassau County and East County.
That's the only government entity he represents.
The only what?
Entity.
That's the only other government you say he's doing is Nassau County. Okay.
We would be competing with them for anything.
I wouldn't think so.
He was recommended through Corey Simon. I like that he was smaller, he had time to work with us. Some of these other big guys have 100 people. Ain't no way they're able to rank all these, different projects. Florida Holocaust Museum. There's money going everywhere. We ain't even have our hand out.
what's the big city in this?
Fernandina. Just north of Duval, basically.
Okay.
He had some people this second.
Show me one that's got a city.
This is the only one I ever talked to. I had to find a few other ones. This is one guy, this is,
Out of all the leagues, surely if they do something for the city, the city would be listed there.
he only represents Nassau County. This is a small guy. Mark Anderson, Gilmore Consulting, Mark Anderson. But there are bigger guys out there that represent cities and counties.
I don't know when it changed, but a lot of those grants at one time, only a county could get. So,
That is true. And school boards, not only school boards, some of it.
and on this,
I talked with a guy that works for Marianna. He sounded kind of shady to me. I won't want to work with him, but he gets some money.
And are these examples of grants or he's getting like,
These are just appropriations.
Appropriations.
They won't work, they don't even write grants or do nothing with
Right.
grants. This is straight appropriation request.
Leave 20 million for a sewer system and they work on getting us 20 million for a sewer system.
Appropriations. It's hard to do. You gotta have somebody that has the experience working.
County usually always gets first dib.
Depending on what the project is about.
Yeah, isn't it normally municipalities that run utilities? Or some counties do it?
It's about-
It's usually.
That's what I was thinking. I would say most of the time you, yeah. But you're right, though, counties,
They do.
they have things, I mean, well, they're legislatively necessary, whereas a municipality isn't. Something, I mean, did I say that correctly? Okay,
yeah,
they have to exist. We don't have to exist.
I didn't want to.
We need to, we don't have to.
do a lot of these usually flat fee or they just take a percentage of what they're able to accomplish?
I didn't want to answer today. I just wanted y'all to think about it. Call around some other people you know. Maybe some other city councils, see what they're doing.
Yeah, I saw several. I watched the Florida Channel, or whatever you call it, where they're on there talking all the time about this and that. And a lot of things made it through the House, made it through the Senate, didn't make it through the governor's office, just didn't make it. For whatever reason. Had the wrong lobbyist, I don't know.
No, whatever, I mean, not whatever, but what's the governor's priorities? If you're interested in this over here, he's not interested in that.
Right,
You can have the best lobbyists in the world.
Or they lead you on, because I work with the Curtises, I'm getting some, horse and trail grants up here. And they met right here and they had a huge turnout and everything, and they were so excited. And it, the governor's saying he's interested, preserving the woods and the wetlands and all that, and it got turned down. I think they gave a penance, which wasn't even enough for signage for what some of these, it's a joke, it was a joke, that's.
well, anyway, you gonna continue just to research on that a little bit and get back with us?
Like y'all to research those people.
Will do. All right, agenda item 6J. Council to appoint one citizen to serve on the Perry Police Pension Board of Trustees. Do we have anyone? I do not.
Supposed to bring y'all one, because it says council appoint. That's like getting mad if you bring one to a point.
Well, anybody can try to just ask anybody if they want to do it. Any of us could, couldn't we, or?
It's definitely posted on our Facebook page.
So if you run across somebody that wants to do it. What, 4 times a year you meet, is that right?
Yep, 4 times quarterly.
I had to put it in the city limits.
What's it pay?
That's
Doesn't
zero.
make any-
That was a joke.
You get a high five and you leave the meeting.
there you go.
And this position has.
And you have to fill out Form 1.
Yeah. Which they're due by the first, anybody here has to do it. It's electronic now. Right?
We got to the city council members got till the 16th this year.
Oh, really?
Well, they flipped us from Form 6 to Form 1 and gave us 2 extra
Oh,
weeks.
okay, well, yeah.
That,
Once a
what
lot.
you sent to us, actually, yeah,
It's just more.
Form 6, you gotta have an accounting firm, I think, go through your life and
Yes.
figure it out.
One you don't.
No, very general.
Depends on how much you got.
True,
I did
Where
6.
you get it.
it is 6.
Yeah.
That was before they told us we didn't have to.
I was just about to do mine when I got your text. I really was. I was got to go online and get an electronic account set up and all now, but anyway, story for another day. Agenda item 6K, approval of minutes for June 11th, 2024 regular session. Do we have any discussion or can we get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Brian.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodfall.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Catching.
Yes. City manager report, anything, John? City attorney?
Say thank you to those who called, thank you for the cards, thank you for, I don't know who all made all the decisions, but thank you for the flowers, actually ended up being my favorite flowers at my mom's funeral, and then when I saw City of Perry, it made me smile. Thank you so much. In looking at, back at a lot of different stuff, I knew my mom got a key to the city, and I don't know if we do that tradition anymore, but July 14th, 1985 was officially named Carolyn Demp's Day in the city of Perry. So on the 14th this year, we're gonna do something special commemoration. But I don't know who's the keeper of those informations, but I would love to find out if we do Key of the Cities anymore and what the tradition is behind it, just so you can understand a little bit more about it. So I sincerely thank you from calls to textings for just saying condolences. I really appreciate all of it. And thank you, John and Amy in her absence, and different people who have called me to come up with other things when I wasn't able to be in the meeting, but like, oh, here's a memo, or here's this, but I do really appreciate it. Really do.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Mayor, for coming to the wake and stopping by the house and kissing babies. You would thought that you were elected to the office. I appreciate it. And my family.
And that was in a whole different county, so.
Hey, it made me feel special. That's it. I don't have any report.
And I just want to publicly say our condolence, our city council condolences to your family.
Thank you for that.
Okay, the finance department, who wants,
You got anything?
okay,
She look like Danielle when she made that face.
police department,
We have 3 graduating from the academy tomorrow.
Oh, sorry.
2 of those have already taken their state exam. We got it scheduled early, had the hours and they passed. The last one will take the state exam tomorrow.
good deal.
It was sworn in Friday at 11 a.m. in the police department. If you want to come, you're welcome. Here, not everybody in the city. Okay, that's just the councilman. We will provide lunch as well.
Oh, wait a minute, what time is
Now,
that?
remember, I'm paying for lunch for everybody, so don't go crazy.
Are we going somewhere?
Morty there.
No, it's gonna be in town. We have hired one more person. There's a former employee that retired a few years ago. Because the ordinance change we made, we can rehire him now. So he's coming back. And it actually started this week. I've got a draft ordinance that I worked on for the speed zone enforcement. I forwarded it to John, and I think John forwarded it to you. And that's the first step before we can get those camera systems set up and running. Tallahassee recently awarded a contract, out of
Week
6
ago.
or 7 other vendors.
Week ago,
We
here we go, yeah.
The vendor they awarded it to is the preferred vendor for the Chiefs Association. That's not an easy designation to get. That means that they're ethically sound business. And I suggest if we make it that far, we consider them for piggyback. Because of what they've been able to do for a lot of smaller cities.
That was a city, not the, that was a city, not the county,
It
right?
was the city.
City, okay. Going back to what you said, 11:30 or 11?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Get her 30 minutes late,
The welcome, I know.
be
Yeah.
difficult for me to do.
And that's it.
All right, fire department, RV's not here, okay. Street and sanitation, then, yeah,
I know y'all seen all the milling, paving going on. They've got almost every street except 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 streets milled. They've got 6 streets paved already.
Good,
So
good,
they're moving,
Good.
they're moving pretty quick.
good.
That looks really good.
It does.
That's all I. It looks better on video.
Did you have a good crew?
Yeah.
Did you have a good crew?
It's too short.
Water department, what time?
I'd like to bring up.
How's the main,
Plant is operational at this point. We are still waiting for some final problems in the contract, but we are operational.
with the filters?
Not with the GAC filters yet.
Okay, sir.
We're running the plant as it was before the filter change went in until we get the chlorination system for the post-chlorine finished. They didn't want to bring them in ahead because they still have to test everything and it needed online to do their tests. So they didn't want to come, set up, and then come back. So once they're done, we're operational.
How's the water,
When
sorry.
do you think they'll do it?
I don't have a date yet on it. I need to call them for construction tomorrow and get to them, but hopefully, not saying for certain, could be by the weekend.
Have you had any complaints since it went back online?
No.
Good.
So it's producing pretty good clear water.
I mean, it's going to be a long time before it gets through the distribution system either way. And it is one plant of 3, so I don't expect it to be an overnight change.
Is there, or is the flushing of the hydrant still going on or?
Yes. I believe what RB said this morning was they were nearing about a third to halfway, between a third and halfway through the system.
Okay, so that'll help it
Yes.
clean on out. So we should have, some of these places already been clearing up pretty soon. But it seems to be some places they've got it, some don't.
It's kind of sporadic. We're seeing it in some areas worse than others, but
Yeah.
as they're making their system flush and working their way around, I'm seeing it kind of going to the areas they haven't been to yet. But
Okay.
Are the hydrants working good?
the majority, we do have a lot, obviously, that have been out and had issues for a number of years that have been just piling up. But for the majority, they're working pretty well.
Good.
Good. Very good. Sean Lee. Okay. Natural gas. Steve.
Good. Ours are good.
Peace to you too. All right. Parks,
Ours are good too.
all right. City council requests. Ms. Landry.
A lot of chatter on social media about the water park down here with people using it as a public bathing house. Just wondering what more we can do. I know you've been working on it.
Made an arrest last week,
wow.
for someone up there, with a trespass after warning. He had often been taken to leaving trash and violating park rules or the park after hours. One of the, officers working, gave him a trespass warning when they found him in the bathroom after hours. I went back 2 or 3 days later, he was there one morning early, trying to bathe in the shower that's out there, and he would, we stopped, turned the water off to the shower. If the splash pad's not running, there's no need to have that shower there running.
Right.
for you. And we have a regular patrol going on in the parks now, and I have not seen, the issue in the last several days that we had before.
You turned off the shower, like no one can turn it on right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was taken care of.
Or they probably could.
If they tried, but, if we catch them doing that, they're tampering with water systems. So we'll not let them.
Yeah.
So that, and I know, I talked to Garrett about some reinforced doors for that as well.
How's that working on the other part?
They seem to be doing fine.
I hadn't torn those off yet.
No,
Good.
They're
Working
gonna-
hard to tell him off.
I got to work on
Oh,
that.
I know.
Yeah, they'll get caught in the process.
Yeah,
Bring a truck out or something.
Yeah.
we're looking at some doors just like the splash pad bathroom and the utility room there. I did find out somebody got in there and got a gallon of gas out of there.
Shower.
There's no telling.
Yeah.
But we need, we're
You
gonna.
find them if they took a shower in there. You'd be the person to find them.
There's more of a concerted effort on patrol there, and that's helping. The
Good.
only hindrance we've had is the shortage on shifts. It's gonna be a few months before we're completely ready. least we got people to train.
right.
Get them out there on the road.
Thank
Do
you.
people set up there at that place, I guess, under the gazebo, every day of the week, is not just weekends to
And
sell?
there's somebody up
produce?
there every day. And that's a mixture of people just hanging out there, and people selling their wares.
I didn't realize it was every day.
The produce sale up there, there's an exception under Florida law, under agriculture exemptions, that allows people to grow their own produce to sell that way without regulation.
Right.
Well, the people that are doing that now, I don't believe these are their own grown
It's a lot.
produce. Yes, I think they're collecting it and reselling. So, you know, John and I have kind of discussed this, and if they're not complying with ag regulations, we should not probably let it up there sell. Because it's unregulated fruit and vegetable sales is at health and safety.
Something though to think about, several years ago, it was, I don't know if it's in the minutes or if it was brought up in the minutes, but people can set up down there to sell anything and don't have to get a business license
Yes.
or this occupational business tax receipt. They can set up down there, so
I think,
that's something y'all.
I think the health, safety and welfare issue for people selling cottage goods, and cottage goods is jams, jellies, anything they make in their home. It's not regulated. We should have at least some kind of registration process for them to say, be allowed to sell there. Will we charge them a dime or not? So we know who's there on what days. If somebody comes up ill, we can at least track that back to find out, to help the health department investigate. Maybe something we want to look at.
The
later.
cottage industries are supposed to have the seller's name and address on the product.
Us too. Yes. But not everybody. does. That's just something to consider for the future.
It is, you're right.
And a lot of this was Main Street was still active. Was controlled by Main Street, but they were allowed to set up some kind of taste or a registration fee with Main Street to go set up.
A little bit of a fundraiser for them,
Yeah,
like
for them.
$25.
But it was only supposed to be for your homegrown vegetables.
Yeah, cottage
It wasn't
stuff.
for like what it's turned out.
And you're allowed to have a certain number of yard sales a year under ordinance. People go up there and sell everything every day of the week, and you see the same people multiple times.
Yeah, they even got clotheslines.
Yeah, I was like, I need to go
Fixed
there
up.
and sell something. They sell everything.
Now, there's a lot of stuff that's sold up there.
And then it's let for us to hold on.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty regularly. Oh, yeah, they'll leave their trash.
Yes, the splash pads, any idea when they might come back online?
I know it's hard to find people.
Well, yeah, it's just the parts one. The parts from different companies that make the splash pad stuff, they're not interchangeable. You have to get it from the exact company that made it.
Yep.
So it's just. Try. The turkey splash pad is closer to this.
Right. One more thing I want to bring up, I'll be done, John, I think I talked to you about a week ago about a piece of property, you said it was accumulating fines, it was. Can't get a hold of the person, whatever that owns it, but at some point, I guess the council decided not to